I'm actually just realising how unhinged this is. This is ridiculous! I'm starting to realise I actually think I might have a problem. This is the video that I have most not wanted to film out of everything I've ever filmed on this channel. I've been seeing people do this video and I was like, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. This is every single book on my physical TBR. And spoilers, there's a lot. I genuinely don't know where to start. I feel so overwhelmed. If anyone is an avid watcher of this channel, you'll notice that 2 weeks ago I did a big haul. Most of those were books I got for Christmas, or a few I bought myself. And after that haul, I said, I am going on a book buying ban. This is the reason. However, I may or may not have a mini haul for you guys. It's 4 books, okay? Forgive me, it's 4 books. They were necessary books. As necessary as a book can be, they were necessary. But I have, however, just counted every single book behind me, and there are 166 books in this house that I have not read. That's not including the plays. I'm not getting any of the plays out because then we would probably be into the triple digits. No, we're already into the triple digits, we're way into the triple digits. And we're gonna whistle stop tour these, and I mean that. I'm not gonna give a synopsis of every single one, we don't have time for this. But before we do that, I do have a book haul. It's only 4 books. First up, I got Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This is, I think, one of her later releases. I think this is from a couple years ago. But every book I've read by Lisa Jewell I have loved. So if I see a new Lisa Jewell that I don't own, I kind of have to get it, that's the rule. This I actually already own. I know this is awful, but my copy of this, all these books are thrifted, by the way. My other copy of this is also thrifted, but it's really beat up and like the spine's all bent and cracked, and it just makes me sad because my other Sally Rooney books are perfect. So this, again, thrifted, £1, perfect condition. And I literally was saying to someone the other day how I wanted to find a perfect condition of this thrifting. And I did, so again, it would be rude not to. Then found Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which is the 2nd book in the Red Rising series, which I do own, haven't read. It's in here somewhere, I don't know where. And then I found Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, if I find a Taylor Jenkins Reid book thrifting, I have to get it. It's the rules, I'm sorry. Right, well that is the haul portion of this video done. I really genuinely don't want to do this. I don't even know where to start. I think we're just gonna go for it. Okay, we're gonna start here, I guess. We have The Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. Fantasy, I think, magical, found family. We have All the Light We Cannot See, which I think is a literary fiction. I think it's quite dark. I want to say it's about a war, not sure. Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams, dark comedy about love, race and family. We have a Terry Pratchett book called Dodger, The Children Act by Ian McEwan, which is about a 17-year-old boy who doesn't want treatment to save his life, and I think the lawyer trying to convince him to do it. The Virgin Suicides, which I have been wanting to read for forever, and this is on my 2024 TBR. The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is the follow-up to They Both Die at the End, which was phenomenal in my opinion. Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield, about a wife who goes missing in a submarine. A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. I have seen the play and the film of this, both made me weep, trying to make it a trifecta. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. Brilliant title. Think this is a literary fiction about being unhappy in life, maybe, don't know, sounds good. We have A Girl Called Samson, which is a historical fiction. I have 2 books by Matt Haig. I have The Midnight Library and The Humans. I have the original Peter Pan story in just this beautiful paperback, and it just feels like it's about time that I actually read it because I love this story. Following on with more Taylor Jenkins Reid, I have Carrie Soto Is Back and After I Do. All the Bright Places, which I think is a very sad romance / literary fiction. The Extinction Trials by S.M. Wilson, which is a fantasy. Okay, we've done 1 pile. This is doable. Oh, I don't even know where to go next. Should we do this one? I have The Silent Corner by Dean Koontz. I actually don't think I've read anything by this author, or if I did, I think it was when I was a teenager. So it'll be fun to get back into some of his books because I know he's quite beloved. Neon Gods, which is a Hades and Persephone dark romance retelling. This is a book called Magic Tides, which is a novella. I have been asking everyone if they can tell me what series this is from because I'm very confused and I don't know if I can read this as a standalone, so again, if anyone knows, please tell me. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, YA mystery. The Lost Hours by Susan Lewis. My Policeman by Bethan Roberts. I have seen the film, yet to read the book. Found this in one of those like little libraries in like a random town in the Cotswolds, so had to take it. Dark Corners by Ruth Rendell. My mum read this and said it was really good, so looking forward to that. We have 2 books by Brit Bennett. We have The Mothers and The Vanishing Half. I don't know too much about this one, but The Vanishing Half I've heard really good things, and they both look stunning, so excited to read these. We have Deep Down Dead. I actually know this author. She is wonderful. She's so lovely. I have been asking her a bunch of questions about writing books because she is doing really well, and I'm writing a book. I have The One Memory of Flora Banks. I think she forgets everything every day, but then one time she kisses a boy and she remembers it. So that sounds like a cool concept. The Crow Girl, which is very thick. I actually kind of think I read this as a teenager, but I can't remember, so I'll probably reread it at some point. Where the Crawdads Sing. I've seen the trailer for this film, it looks incredible, but yet to see it or read it, so I'm excited to get to this one. Sleeping in the Ground by Peter Robinson. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I'll be honest, I bought this just because I think the title's awesome. I don't know what it's about, I think it's a sci-fi. Oh, let's do this pile next. Oh, on the line of great titles, this is How to Be Dead, books 1 to 3 by Dave Turner. Don't know too much about this, but again, I'm a sucker for a great title, and that is a great title. We have Bunny, which I am unbelievably excited for. I've spoken about wanting to read this book so much. This is about a cult in a university. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I think this is a light-hearted romance set in a STEM science-y setting. Mexican Gothic, which is about a socialite, I think trying to help her cousin. The Root of Evil, another thriller. Virals, which is another one I kind of think I started when I was a teenager. I had a real habit when I was a teenager of starting books and never finishing them. How are we already at 15 minutes of footage? I've not even made a dent yet. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is about a time-travelling cafe. Who Cares If They Die? I've had this a long time actually, but I just think it sounds awesome. It says the victims are all women living on the fringes of society, so who will miss them? After the Crash, which is a thriller about a plane crash and then 2 families claiming a baby who was found in that crash. House Under the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I've got a few non-fiction. Ironically, I have started all of these and haven't finished any of them yet. I do want to read more non-fiction, so we have a choice of exactly 4. We have The Prison Doctor, which I do remember reading and was very interesting, and it actually talks about a prison quite near where I live as well, so that's just interesting. Life in Parts by Bryan Cranston. Phenomenal actor, really want to finish reading this. The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. This is written by a journalist, I think, basically interviewing him, and I've read quite a lot of it, but again, never finished it, so would love to finish that. And The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, which I think is self-explanatory. We're getting through them, let's do this pile. The Natural Way of Things, which I think is about some women who get kidnapped. If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. This is a very sad, dark romance. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which is nothing to do with Macbeth, which I have thought this entire time, but it is to do with video games. Red, White and Royal Blue. This is a romance, I think light-hearted. The cover's giving light-hearted anyway, and it is about a prince, possibly 2 princes. Snakeskins by Tim Major. This is about clones, I believe, and again, bought this solely for the cover. Great cover. Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. I am putting this off because I am slightly intimidated by it. I think it's literary fiction, I think it's very intellectual, but I've heard good things, it sounds great. I'm genuinely so impressed none of these piles have fallen over yet. I don't want to jinx myself because I think it might happen, but me and my mum once got stranded in an airport for like ages and ages because our flight got so delayed that we missed our connection, and basically we were stuck there so long that they were like, all we can offer you is a voucher for some money off. And with the money off, instead of buying food like normal people, we bought books. And these are the 2 books we bought. We bought The Mirror Man and The Murders at Fleet House. I think my mum has read one or both of these. I have read neither. But they both sound great. I think they're both thrillers. The Chalk Man by CJ Tudor. Iron Flame, which is the sequel to Fourth Wing. Don't know why that went out of my head. I am actually on page 240 of this, but I'm still counting it. Oh, I thought I put all my Taylor Jenkins Reid together. The system is rocky, but we have another one. This is Daisy Jones and the Six. This is about a band. Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. And The Spanish Love Deception, which I think is a fake dating, possibly enemies to lovers, possibly not. Right, let's do this one. The Snowman by Jo Nesbo. I have a bunch of Colleen Hoover books. I have Never Never, Confess, All Your Perfects, November 9. Maybe Now, Verity, Reminders of Him. Don't really know what any of them are about, but again, it's one of those ones that if I'm thrifting and I see an author that I know, I tend to just buy them because I know people like them. I don't know, we need to do a lot of catching up on that. I have read Queen, which is a fantasy, She Who Became the Sun, which is a historical fiction, The Invisible Life by Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. This is about a woman who makes a bargain to live forever. Oh, I see, again, I've done a very bad job of putting authors together. We have another Christina Lauren, which is The Soulmate Equation. Shadow and Bone, fantasy. Then I have the reason I had to buy that other Sally Rooney book, which is all of my other Sally Rooney books. Well, all of my other two, Normal People and Beautiful World, Where Are You? Both of these I think I found thrifting, both in perfect condition, so I just needed to complete the set. Oh. All That Man Is won the Man Booker Prize in 2016. All I know about it, but that was on the front cover, so I figured, hey, let's get that. Babel. I have somewhere in here Yellowface by the same author, but that's in another pile. One of Us Is Lying. This is, I think, YA murder mystery. I want to say it's like Breakfast Club vibes. They're all in detention and then one of them dies. We have the Twisted Love series, which I think are dark romances, maybe mafia vibes, maybe not. We have a collection of Lisa Joule books. We have got I Found You, The Night She Disappeared, and The Family Remains, which is the sequel to The Family Upstairs, which I have read and loved. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Again, somewhere in here we have Wildfire. Again, in a different pile. These, I think, are quite light-hearted hockey romances. I'm yet to read a hockey romance, but I know everyone's obsessed with these at the moment, so I'm excited to get to them. My camera cut out because I've been talking for so long. We have a book called Quiet Thunder by J.P. Harker. This was recently sent to me by the author, so thank you very much to J.P. Harker, and I'm excited to get to it. And he signed it for me, which is very nice. Another one very excited for is If We Were Villains, which I think is dark academia, murder mystery, vibes, university, maybe, don't know. Oh, and another TJ Klune. Yeah, I've done a terrible job of putting authors together. Under the Whispering Door. We are getting there. We've got 5 piles left. Okay, we have all of my Stephen King books. I think I've put all these together. We have Carrie, Blaze, Misery, Finders Keepers, The Running Man, Pet Sematary, and Billy Summers. Some very exciting ones in there. Except Carrie, which I'm dreading reading. Just because I'm scared of everything, but it is on my 2024 TBR, so will be read at some point this year. Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I think literary fiction with maybe romance. What we're learning through this video is I just don't really know what any of these books are about. I kind of like going into books a bit blind and not worrying too much about the genre or like or like the tropes, for example. Like this is a personal thing, I know a lot of people really enjoy it, but for me, I like not knowing the tropes in, say, like a romance book. Like if it's enemies to lovers, I'd rather not know that. Because then to me it's fun to be like, is it the villain or are they going to have a romance? I don't know, that's just me. I know a lot of people like to know the tropes. Wildfire, which is with Icebreaker, which I mentioned earlier. Final Detail by Harlan Coben. I know he's a very beloved author. Disappearing Act by Robert Sheehan. He is an actor, he's been in Misfits and other stuff that's now all left my head, but this is a book of short stories. It's stunning and he's a very funny man, so I feel like this will be a fun read, so I'm excited for this. One of my most anticipated reads for this year is A Bright Ray of Darkness by Ethan Hawke. Again, another book written by an author, and this is about a guy making his Broadway debut after he's like been caught in a cheating scandal with his wife, I think. I just think this sounds fabulous. I'm very excited. We have the Berserk trilogy by Michael Grant, which actually follows the Gone series. We'll just do those now as well. No, it doesn't follow that series. That's a complete lie. It's just by the same author. Oh, this is so chaotic. This is a trilogy. I don't know what it's about. It's a sci-fi, I think. This series I kind of have already read. I'm doing a reread, but I haven't read the last one, so that's why I've included them in this video. But I've read the first one in a different video, so this is like the last 5 in that series. This is about kids in a world where all the adults have disappeared. And it's really fun and I love it and I like his writing style, so I'm excited to read the Berserk trilogy, which I have not read, but I've read most of these except Light, but I'm rereading it so that I can read Light. Does that make sense? It really doesn't matter. We've got a thriller called Behind Her Eyes. We have another thriller called Apples Never Fall. Secretly Yours, Tessa Bailey. I think this is my first Tessa Bailey book that I own. I haven't read any, but again, I know she's beloved. This is a romance. I don't know what it's about. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. another romance. It looks like a dark romance from the blurb. Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This is a love story, but I don't think it's a romance. I think it's a literary fiction about a love story. And she has the most poetic writing style ever, so I'm very excited for this. I've been waiting for this to come out in paperback for so long, and I'm very excited. I Fell in Love with Hope, which is about a girl falling in love with a boy who is dying in hospital. So sad, dark romance. Oh, okay. I can actually take this one off of physical TBR. I actually have read this. So 165 books to read, which is so much better, right? But this is the second book in the Gilded Duology, which is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling by Marissa Meyer. Also, how stunning. Sprayed edges, beautiful. Then we have the Magnolia Park's Daisy Hates series. This is Gossip Girl set in London. I love Gossip Girl, I love London. I know it's like toxic relationships, so it's not for everyone, but I'm excited to give them a try. And I own all 4 of them just because they're so stunning. 3 piles left, we can do this. We have Mythos by Stephen Fry, which is a Greek mythology retelling. The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is about a girl who inherits a bunch of money from a stranger. The first 3 books in the A Court of Thorns and Rose series, because that's how many I've got so far. This is a fantasy series. I've said I'm reading them so many times. I am actually getting to this one in February, so fun times. Honey and Spice, which is a romance and it's about a radio DJ, and that's all I know about it. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. Again, I have somewhere down here, yeah, The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. This is a thriller set in a hospital, I believe. Horses of Fire, which is a historical fiction. Daisy Darker and Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. Again, 2 thrillers. Again, very beloved thriller writer. Excited to finally read one of her books. On Earth, We Are Briefly Gorgeous. This is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read, and I think it's meant to be very poetic. I think the author is also a poet, primarily. We have Peter James, Not Dead Yet, and Ian Rankin, A Song for Dark Times. The Book Thief, which is set in 1939 Nazi Germany. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This, I think, is about a girl who's groomed by her teacher. So, very sad literary fiction, I think. Everyone You Hate Is Going to Die and Other Comforting Thoughts by Daniel Sloss. Daniel Sloss is my favourite comedian in the whole world. My boyfriend has bought us tickets to go see him in February. I'm very, very, very excited. And this is his book, and I'm excited to read this because I just think Daniel Sloss is brilliant. Happy Place by Emily Henry. The Library Suicides, which is about 2 girls and their mother dies and one of them knows what happens and one of them doesn't. The Last Interview of Ada Fenn, not a book I've heard of, but one I got bought for Christmas, and this is about a 84-year-old woman who is murdered, I think, and they're trying to figure out what happened. Wrong Place, Wrong Time thriller. Red Rising by Pierce Brown, which is what I was talking about earlier that I bought the sequel to. This is a sci-fi series. Reckless by Elsie Silver. I've made a bit of an error here. I thought this was the first one in the series. Turns out it's the 4th one. And I'm trying to figure out if I can read this as a standalone or if I need to buy all the others. So if anyone has opinions on that, please tell me, because I really want to have a discussion with somebody about this. Yellowface, which is about the publishing industry. I think it's a dark comedy, but it also talks a lot about racism within that industry. The Maidens, again, same author as The Silent Patient, and I think this one is set in Cambridge University, and it's like to do with societies, and I think that's a murder. So I think this one's like more of a dark academia, whereas the other one's more of a thriller. The Guest List by Lucy Foley. We're on to the last pile. Beautiful. The Unhoneymoon is by Christina Lauren. 12 Minutes to Midnight by Christopher Edge. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is a fantasy about a magical carnival, I think, that pops up. Sea of Tranquility, which I think is like a sci-fi literary fiction vibe. One of the most pretty books I own. I have some of the Shatter Me series. Oh, again, I've read Shatter Me. 164 books. Oh, this is going great. Okay, well, I have some of the Shatter Me series. That was the first one. This is the second one. This, I think, is the 4th one. I get the majority of my books through thrifting, so I kind of will just pick books up as and when I find them. So I've been thrifting the Shatter Me series. All of those books are thrifted, but I haven't found the 3rd one or any of the others yet. So that's just how it's worked out. But I want to read the 2nd one because it's been a while since I read the 1st one. The Beach Party by Nikki Smith. This is a thriller. This is How You Lose the Time War, which I think is a sci-fi romance set during a war. That kind of vibe. I've heard amazing things. Remarkably Bright Creatures, which is about a woman who befriends an octopus and uses the octopus to solve a crime. Circe by Madeline Miller, which is a Greek mythology. Again, one I'm a little bit intimidated by, but I do really want to get to because I've heard amazing things. We have two Beth O'Leary books. We have The No-Show and The Switch. I've read The Flat Share by this author. They're quite light-hearted, fun romances, I assume. This one definitely is. I'm not sure if this one actually is a romance, because this one's more to do with like switching lives, I think, with her grandma. I don't really know, but I think they're quite light-hearted, fun, good feel vibes for the most part. Although The Flat Share had some darker themes in it as well. We have The Sun is Also a Star, which I think is a romance. I think it's like a YA. And last but not least, we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which is a light-hearted, I think, enemies to lovers, workplace rival romance, maybe, don't know. Done. Oh my goodness. If anyone stayed to the end of this, props to you. Let me know in the comments. I will give you a fist bump, I don't know. I need to lie down. Oh, my room's now covered in books and like I actually literally can't get out the door because I've barricaded myself in. Ah! I'm going on a book buying ban, like for real. I have 164 unread books. That's too many books. Okay. Well, this is this year's mission, is to get this down as much as physically possible. By the end of the year, we need to be under 100 books for sure. For sure we need to be under 100 books. But if we can get it down by like half, that'd be good. Because realistically, I'm not going to go on a book buying ban for the entire year. But like, I kind of need to be. But I'm also realistically not going to be because it's like the middle of January and I've already bought books. This has been a real eye-opener. And not a fun one. I never want to do this ever again. But thanks for watching, do appreciate you. Please subscribe. I mean, if you've stuck around to this point, you may as well subscribe. I don't know why that logic tracks, but let's just pretend it does. My brain is now absolutely fried. Thank you for watching. I will catch you next week. Goodbye. I've just gone downstairs to tell my dad that I'd finished filming this video. And I was like, how many books do you reckon I have upstairs that I haven't read? And he said, as like an outrageous guess, he was like, oh, it's gonna be something crazy like 82. And I was like, it's literally exactly double that. It's 164. So if I wasn't on a book buying ban now, I think I'm actually on a book buying ban. Like I don't think he'll let me bring more books into the house. This is outrageous. Guys, look at the mess I've made. This is too many books.